Today guys, I'm going to be teaching you how to build an iron mindset in order to conquer the markets and inevitably bring back some profit. So starting off, you have to go into every single trading day expecting not to take a trade. Now, why is this? So if you're going into the markets expecting to take a trade, you'll most likely start forcing the outcome, and that is a very bad thing to do. The main reason for that is because when you start forcing things, you'll start seeing things that aren't there. So if you start seeing things that aren't there, this will in turn make you sway from your model, and therefore you'll be taking trades that aren't actually valid, and it won't work out very well for you. Next, expect every trade to be a loser. So what does this even mean? So if you're expecting every trade to be a loser, you cannot be affected by the outcome, okay? So then you expect the outcome, then you expect that outcome, and you cannot be altered psychologically by the loss. This means that when you take the loss, you're not going to crash out and make more, hit more trades that are going to be more losses. You are going to be content with that because you already expected it to be a loss, okay? Losing when you don't want to lose causes emotion to come into play. So that's the same thing. So when you're not expecting or you're not wanting a loss and you get that loss, humans are built to avoid pain, okay? So when something happens that we don't want it to happen, that then causes us pain. And that pain then translates to the trading. And then therefore we, crash out, start placing more trades, differ from your rules, and then, it just goes downhill from there. Okay, so that is the first point. Now, we need to focus on building good habits. Okay, so let's go through each one of these. So discipline. Now, discipline is the main component to your trading. What you need is a solid discipline so that you can stick to your rules, your model very precisely without differing and letting your emotions take over. So, how do we build discipline? Discipline can be built in many ways, whether that's challenging yourself through, going running or the gym, or just in general, sticking to your word. If you stick to your word, say, I'm going to do this at this time, and you don't do it, you're breaking your mental discipline. Therefore, what's stopping you from breaking rules on the charts, right? So what you need to do is build that mental discipline for yourself, really, to say, I'm not going to do this, and you stick to that, right? Okay. Now, patience. Patience is very key as well. So you're not going to get a setup every day. And if you don't wait for the perfect setup, then you are going to take bad setups. And that is full stop. That is pretty much as simple as it gets. Okay, so emotional awareness. Now, you need to know when you're coming into the markets, knowing you're going to want to trade, when you're like this close to making that big profit that you're looking for to get your payout. It's just knowing when you're not in the right frame of mind to actually trade properly with a objective mindset. This one, journaling. I shouldn't really need to go into detail with this, but I will. Journaling is very, 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 very important. If you're not journaling, you're not understanding where you're going wrong. You're not understanding, what you might be doing that is actually hindering your trades, the bad setups you're taking. You're never going to find out, and you're still going to have the inconsistent results that you always have done if you don't journal, see what you're doing wrong, and reflect on it. Knowing when not to trade. So knowing how to trade is not even as important as knowing when not to trade, okay? So let's say, for example, you've got this. You've got liquidity up here. You've got liquidity up here even. And price comes up. And we make this nice like price action, okay? Or we have this. Right. Now, what are you more likely to want to get into? A position like this, or a position that's come from like this, okay? Definitely this, okay? So this is what I mean by when not to trade. You don't want to be trading in bad market conditions. That is going to hinder your model. So the probability goes down. You don't want to trade that, okay? When to walk away. Come on, we've all done it. We have all sat there, taken a loss, think, I'm done, I'm not taking anymore. And then you place another one. When you get that feeling, you need to be emotionally aware, okay, and walk away. you need to either lock yourself off your account or just step away from the charts full stop. Focusing on building good habits. But how do we actually do this? Okay, so this could be number one. Every morning you do, let's see if this goes well. There we go. 15 mins of journaling. Okay, or this could be journaling, meditation, or this could be you read for 30 minutes. Okay, let's draw a book. Ready? Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah. Perfect. Look at that. 30 minutes of reading. Now you might not want to do these things, but that's when it's important for you to do them. This is what builds mental discipline. Okay, so you wake up, let's say one morning, you're just like, oh, or one evening, okay, you are thinking, shit, I need to lock in. Okay, guess what? Boom. Oh shit. 5 a.m. What do? You go for a run. Okay, 5 a.m. run. Boom. What does that do? Start your day with good discipline. You are running at 5 a.m. No one else is awake. Boom. That's good discipline. But what's even better than this is when you do it, let's say you finish work at 4, shall we say. Then at 5, you go for a run. Because why? Because because you don't want to. So that is when you need to be running, because you don't want to. You stick to a solid routine that is good for you, yet you don't want to do it because you are not becoming complacent to comfort. You are pushing yourself and having that discipline to push through the pain. Risk management. Okay, let's scale that out like so. Nice. Okay. There are times in the chart where you want to understand when to stay away and when to be offensive. So when you have nice price action, like the last thing we just went over, nice price action, you can be aggressive and attack the market a bit more, and when to be defensive, to say, okay, the market might be looking to take my money here. Okay, so bad price action. So when you want to preserve capital, okay. The idea that there is similarity every day in trading. You cannot go into the market expecting to see your setup at least once a day or expecting good price action, because sometimes market conditions just are bad. So you need to drop those expectations. And this also relates to going into every trading day expecting not to take a trade. So you need to expect not to take a trade. You need to expect not to potentially see your setup, because if you expect to see it, you will force it. Okay? There we go. So, minimize expectancy. Setting rules. Rules are very, very important. Everything's very, very important with this, but rules are slightly up there. Rules are going to keep you grounded and make sure that you are not swaying away from your model, okay? Or away from, bad habits. So, let's say a bad habit would be to revenge trade. Everyone's heard of it. It's definitely a bad habit to have. So setting those rules will stop that. And a good way risk management ties into setting rules is, if trading at all-time highs, it might be a good idea to de-risk, as bias is harder to form and the market is in general unpredictable. Okay, so you have unpredictable market conditions. So what does that mean? It means that the market could do this, or it could just do this. You have no idea. Okay, the market is always giving opportunity. This does not mean opportunity in the sense of trades, but more opportunity to preserve capital or learn/work on other aspects of your trading. So, what does that mean? So that means that you might not have the opportunity to make money that day, but you will have the opportunity to learn something, to analyze the price action, to break it down, to understand what maybe you have thought, your thought process going in, and understand what might be good or bad depending on what the outcome of the day was. So understanding as a whole, really, that there is always opportunity, but it might not be trades. Okay, it might just be knowledge or introspection. And for this last section, we have comparison. A very small section, but probably the most important. I believe that comparison is the thief of joy. You probably have heard that before, but I think that's very true when it comes to trading. And I also think that in relation to trading, I believe it also removes clear vision. Okay, so what is clear vision? Clear vision, I mean trading from a clear state of mind, having nothing in the background, no noise. It's just you and the charts. No, like, this guy took a trade, so I must match him. He's doing really well, so I'm gonna try do as well as he is. Well, you might not be at that same spot that he is. Okay, his section in the journey, he might be a lot further ahead than you are. You have to understand that. You have to understand that you need to be working from a process of your own, not from someone else's, and understand that comparing yourself to other people is only going to cause you pain. And what do we want the least of when we're trading is pain or emotion. So remove all the things from Discord group unless you are, all training the same model, I would say. If you trade the same model, then that is educational, if you know what I mean. But if you're going into those top ticking chats, it's probably not the best thing. Okay. And on that note, I will leave you guys. I hope you've learned something. If you have, please drop a comment. I would love to respond to them. So yeah, peace out.